Hey, what is up everybody? It's Truth Chaos here, and today I'm bringing you guys some Call of Duty Black Ops 3 gameplay. Going to be using the Rift E9. That's right, the Rift E9. So last week I put up a gameplay of the Banshee, talking about how the Rift E9 was not the only DLC weapon I didn't have, and now I have it. And I'm happy I got it, because now I can do this video talking about our DLC weapons overpowered. So in that gameplay I mentioned, or in that video rather, I mentioned that I could do a video talking about my opinions on the DLC weapons, whether I think they're overpowered and are they really pay to win. So without having the Rift E9, that would have been one that I wouldn't have been able to give an opinion on, obviously because I didn't have it. But now that I do have it and I have been using it, I can give an opinion on that. And I'm mostly going to stick to the ranged weapons like the HG40, FFAR, Banshee, Rift E9, and I'll briefly go in on the MX Grand and NX Shadowclaw and stuff. The melee weapons, I ain't even going to touch them, because like I did mention in my previous video, they are just reskins of one another with different sounds when you hit enemies and just a different look. So let's start off with the HG40, which is really when people started getting pissed off saying this shit was pay to win, because they were bringing in an SMG now, right? The MP40. And I think a lot of people were scared, and I just got shit on by a guy with the Banshee right there. I think people were scared that it was going to be overpowered because of how overpowered the MP40 was in World at War. Now, I personally did not ever play World at War online multiplayer, so I couldn't tell you if the MP40 was overpowered, how overpowered it was, and so on and so forth. But the HG40, I will say, is definitely not overpowered. It is not a pay-to-win weapon. I can promise you that right now. Rocksteady, he actually has the HG40, and he doesn't even use it. He doesn't even like the gun. I mean, personally, I like it. I do fairly well with it most of the time, but he does not like that gun. And I think it's because of the way the gun operates. It doesn't really suit his playstyle so much, because although I do play aggressive, I don't play quite as aggressive as Rock does, so that might be why I like it and he doesn't like it, because it's really not a gun that would fit his playstyle, to be honest. But it is not an overpowered weapon. If I was gonna categorize it with the other SMGs and like give it a place on like a, rate them like 1 through, what is that? If you have the HG40, it makes it 7, so 1 through 7, 1 obviously being the best. I would put the HG40 top 5, but I wouldn't put it higher than that. I wouldn't put it top 3, I'll say that. The Razorback, the Kuda, and the Weevil are all definitely better than the HG40 is, and I would say probably the VMP is probably better too. But the HG40 is a good weapon though. Don't get me wrong, it's a good weapon. It's a solid weapon. It's fun to use, but it is not. It's top 5 SMGs at best, not top 3, top 5. So let's talk about the FFAR. Now the FFAR is one that a lot of people want because of its, the FAMAS from Black Ops 1. It is also not a pay-to-win weapon or overpowered in any way, shape, or form. Actually, in my opinion, I think the FFAR is probably the worst assault rifle in that category. I'm being all the way honest. It is probably the worst assault rifle. It has the fastest fire rate, but the accuracy on that gun is so bad. It's just, I mean, it is ridiculously bad. So you can compare it kind of to the HVK, because HVK was the fastest firing assault rifle prior to the FFAR being released in supply drops, but the HVK is far, far better than the FFAR is. So, FFAR, not overpowered and not pay to win. Let's talk about the Banshee and the Rift E9. So, normally I would classify them the same. I would have at first, until I got the Rift E9 and used it. But now I'm going to categorize them differently, because although they both are unlimited range energy pulse weapons, they work completely differently. At first I kind of thought they worked the same. And they do in a sense. But whenever I start kind of breaking them down individually, you should understand what I mean. So the Banshee, we'll start with the Banshee. As we all know, a lot of people kind of think it's overpowered or thought it was overpowered. But let me tell you something. The Banshee would only be overpowered if somebody had like an aimbot or just had like some kind of amazing accuracy. because that gun is extremely hard to use. And one of the things that makes it harder to use than the Rifty 9 is the fact that the fire rate is slower, because you have to pump. It's like a pump shotgun. You know, you have to pull the little lever back to before you can shoot again. You can only shoot one, whereas the Rifty 9, it's a burst, so it shoots 2 shots, and then you have to wait like a millisecond before it'll let you shoot again. So it shoots a lot faster than the Banshee does. And also, I will say this, that the Rifty 9, the energy pulses, when they fire out, they travel faster than from the Banshee, or at least that's the way it seems to me. It's a lot easier for me to shoot somebody running kind of like diagonally from me or something, or at an angle that I have to lead my shot with the Rifty 9. It seems easier to kill them with the Rifty 9 than it is the Banshee. Like the Banshee, it seems like the energy pulse shoots a little bit slower. But I will say this, that if any of the DLC weapons were going to be overpowered, I would probably say that would be the Rifty 9. I mean, you know, for those of you who have used them or whatever, call me crazy. If you have a different opinion, let me know. But I definitely would say that the Rifty 9 is probably, if I was going to pick one that was overpowered, it would be probably, yeah, it'd probably be the Rifty 9. You know, the Shadow Claw, a lot of people thought that was overpowered when it first got dropped, because of the fact that you could pick the bolts back up, as well as whenever you fired your weapon. Like if you were playing in core, let's say you're playing in core, you never show up on the minimap, right? But here's the thing about the Shadow Claws. They are extremely hard to use. And I'll tell you why. Because you not only have to lead your shot, but the range on those things is like non-existent. It's like the range doesn't exist, okay? It is extremely hard to use the Shadow Claws. Even akimbo or dual wield, whatever you want to call it. I used them once. I picked them up. I don't actually have them dual wield on my Shadow Claw. I don't have the attachment unlocked, but I did pick them up one time and ran around with them for a minute. And I picked them up a couple times that match, and they are extremely hard to use still, even being dual wield. So the MX Grand, that gun, you could probably say it was overpowered, but the fact that you can't hit square to reload, you have to fire all 8 shots out of the magazine, that completely renders that gun from being overpowered. There's like the Shiva is better, because for one, it holds more bullets in a magazine, and you can shoot a couple shots, hit square, reload your gun, and go about your business. So yeah, anyways, that's all I have time for today. None of the DLC weapons are overpowered, at least not in my opinion. If you have a different opinion, let me know down in the comments below. If you do think that some of them are overpowered, let me know. Me personally, I've used all of them. None of them are overpowered, dude. The Marshals. That was a big one I missed. I'll quickly touch on the Marshals before the video ends. The Marshals, I guess you could say they were overpowered, and the only thing I think that needed to be done to them was the range taken off just a little bit. And it's from the most recent patch to, you know, nerfs to guns, they did nerf the Marshals, and apparently they did take some range off. So I think that was the only thing that needed to be done to the Marshals to make them not overpowered. But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Let me know your opinions down in the comment section below, and I hope you all have a great, safe, and wonderful day, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace out.
Establish perimeter at 10,000. Hostile UAV spotted. Securing Charlie.